What up, Cave Crew? Welcome back to the Gamers Cave YouTube channel. Today, you're getting the first place final Friday night or Monday night YGO tournament deck profile, hosted, played by yours truly, and I had to show off my mat a little bit. But today, you are going to see Altergeist Numeron. You have seen this deck profile already on the channel, but this is actually a little bit spicier. So we're going to go ahead and dive right into this profile. Okay, so first up is triple copies of Altergeist Multifaker. Multifaker is the heart and beat of this deck. If you've watched the previous profile, you kind of know what it does, but when a trap card resolves, you get to special summon this card from your hand, and when it's normal or when this card is special summoned, you get to summon another Altergeist monster from your deck. Triple copies of Meluseek. Meluseek is a level 1, which is important. It can attack directly, and when it deals damage, you can send a card on your opponent's field to the graveyard. It doesn't target, it doesn't destroy, it sends it. And then when it's sent to the graveyard, you get to add an Altergeist card from your deck to your hand. Now, here's one of the changes you're going to notice. 2 copies of Altergeist Marionetter. Marionetter lets you set an Altergeist trap card from your deck to your side of the field, and you can send another Altergeist card from your field to the graveyard to special summon an Altergeist monster, so that's pretty big. 2 copies of Silk. Silk is just your bouncer, and when it's sent to the graveyard, you get to add a Altergeist trap card. It didn't come up today, but it does come up that you get to add an Altergeist trap card from your graveyard to your hand. 1 copy of Konkiri. It is your battle negation, so you can stop an attack. If you have these 2, you can stop an attack, bounce it back to hand, stop an attack, and negate a monster effect. Next up is 2 copies of Manifestation. Manifestation lets you target an Altergeist monster in your graveyard and special summon it in defense mode, and you can banish this card from the graveyard to target an Altergeist trap card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So, Manifestation's crazy. If you partner with Silk Quotas, what you can do is you can bring, if you have Silk on field, you can use it to bring back Multifaker. Multifaker will summon something else from your deck, and you can bounce Manifestation, keeping whatever you summoned from the deck. 2 copies of Protocol. Protocol is it protects your Altergeist monsters. I'm actually contemplating cutting this to 1 and putting in maybe a different line of traps. This is one of the cards I'm contemplating cutting down on just because I saw it too often. But this card, you can also tribute a Altergeist monster on the field to negate a monster effect and destroy the card, which is pretty crazy. So it gives you more interruptions in a deck that has a ton of them. And then 3 copies of Personal Spoofing, rounding out your Altergeist cards. Spoofing lets you shuffle an Altergeist monster from your hand or field back into your deck and add a different, and then add another Altergeist monster from your deck to your hand, which is pretty great. And that's it for this Altergeist lineup. Next up is going to be the Numeron package. So triple copies of Numeron Wall. Wall as a quick effect, so during either player's turn, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard to activate a Numeron network from your hand or deck. So this comes up in ways that are really funny. As long as you have no monsters on field, you can use this to bait out Called by the Graves for your turn. You can use this as a way to force your opponent into ogring something they don't want to ogre, or ogring early because they don't want you to have access to stuff. It's just a really good card. Triple copies of Numeron Network. This card came in clutch. I actually used it for OTKs just as much as I used it for Zexal. So what it'll do is it lets you send Numeron Calling from your deck to your graveyard, which lets you activate its effect as though it's that effect. And it sends its cost. And then Calling will let you summon up to 4 number monsters with different names. Numeron monsters. Numeron Exceeds monsters. Jeez. With different names. And you don't have to detach to activate their effects, which is crazy. And that's going to be the Numeron package. So yes, Numeron Calling lets you just summon them for free. But you can only normal or special summon once for the rest of the turn. Then triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. It's a hand trap, so you got to have some hand traps in here. And Ash is just the most generic one, so it's good. After Ash, we got triple Infinite Impermanence. This plus Multifaker is crazy. If you don't see your Numeron stuff, which does happen, Infinite, like this just helps you start off your entire Altergeist lineup. Then we've got, moving forward after hand traps is going to be just good staple traps, so 2 copies of Compulse. This is what I'm playing with right now. the meta here is pretty going second heavy, but I'm seeing a lot more going first stuff, so I'm thinking about changing this out with evenly matched in the main, just because it's a good tech. One copy of Imperial Order for spell cards to say no to more things, because I don't like people playing this game, I guess. Triple copies of Solemn Strike. Strike negates a monster effect or special summon by paying 1,500 life points. This, on resolution, will trigger multi-faker. Counter traps will trigger multi-fakers, so just as a heads up. And then triple copies of Solemn Judgment. Judgment just says no to anything. You just don't care. It's just no. And that's it for the main deck. We're going to go ahead and hit the extra deck and followed by the side deck. Alright, so in the extra deck, we've got triple copies of Altergeist Hextia. Hextia gets the attack points of an Altergeist monster it points to. And when a spell, trap, or card effect, spell or trap card or effect is activated as a quick effect, I can tribute an Altergeist monster that this card points to, and negate the activation and destroy the card. But if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to add an Altergeist card from your deck to your hand. So this just helps you reset everything, as well as an additional form of interruption, which is crazy. Then we've got one Prima Banshee. This never came up. I'm just running it for the Altergeist name, and it's big. And if you use it, like if you go Hextia and you can make it under Hextia, it becomes really big. And then during the main phase, as a quick effect, you contribute another Altergeist monster and special summon an Altergeist monster from your deck to a zone this card points to. So, like, if you already have Hextia, you can go, okay, make Prima Banshee. Excuse me. You can make Prima Banshee under Hextia, and then use Prima Banshee's effect, tribute something, summon something else here, and now you've got a full board to be able to fight back with. Then your Link 1s, this is because you run Meloseek. This lets you get Meloseek to the graveyard to use its effect. Link Karibo is good going first. It sets up your board, it gives you a way to deal with things, and Relinquished Anima is great going second because you get to eat things. The one time I used this today, it was a misplay. I screwed up. I was able to play back, but that misplay just set me back like 2 turns, and I ended up losing that individual game. But Anima is incredible for just like, okay, going second, they don't have a huge board, Meloseek, attack directly, deal with it, and then summon this and suck up their monster. Pretty crazy. Then the Nightmares, Nightmare Phoenix, and Nightmare Unicorn. This is a Altergeist deck that uses its extra deck a lot more than normal. Phoenix is just to deal with back row, Unicorn is to deal with everything. And then one copy of Access Code Talker. This can be just about anything. I never, like these 3 cards I never went into. I never used once. I didn't even use Prima Banshee. I used the Link 1s, I used the Hextia, and I used 5 of the next 6. But in testing, this actually does come up as a way to deal with things like Mystic Mine. I can link away the Zexal and the whatever to Phoenix and pop it, and then use Phoenix to climb into Unicorn and deal with something else. So it's just good. And then next up is going to be the Numeron stuff. So number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so these can't be destroyed by battle. At the end of the damage step, if it battled an opponent's monster, I can detach a material, which I don't have to do because of Numeron Network, and it doubles the attack point of all Numeron monsters that I currently control. So, if they have, let's say, 3 monsters, 1,000, boost it to 2, 2,000, boost it to 4, 4,000, boost this to 8, swing for game. Just absolute craziness. And then at the end phase, they're going to be banished. So you can just then, after that, overlay into Zexal, which I will get into in a second. To continue on the Numeron gates, there's also one more. Number C1, Numeron Chaos Gate Sunya. Sunya is good because when you summon it, it banishes all monsters on the field, and then it comes back with 1,000 extra attack points. It gets attack points of all banished Exceeds monsters. So if your opponent's playing an Exceeds-based deck, you can use this to just say no to their board, which is pretty awesome. And then finally, probably the best card in the deck is Zexal. It's probably, but I don't know if I'd say it is. The Numeron Network just gives this deck a whole new ceiling offensively, which is pretty cool because people don't see it coming in Altergeist. But Zexal just says your opponent can't activate cards or effects on their turn. which is really rude. Okay, now into the side deck. So that's 40 in main, 15 inside extra. So here's your my side deck. Triple Ghost Ogre. This is just good against anything that wants to try to do things. Ghost Ogre just pops cards, so it makes them have to play around not having a piece. Triple copies of Nibiru. Nibiru just tributes monsters. I've summoned 5 times. Bye-bye. 2 copies of DD Crow. DD Crow is banishing things out of the graveyard. It didn't come up today, but I did side in all of these cards actually today. Every single card in my side deck did get sided in at some point today. 1 copy of Compulse. Yeah, that's my 3rd copy. Triple copies of Heavy Storm Duster to deal with back row decks. And triple copies of Evenly Matched. So when I'm going second, if I don't open Numeron, I have another thing I can do that gives me 9 cards to just blow my opponent out, which is awesome. So I decided on Evenly Matched because then if I have this in Multi-Faker, in battle phase I can go, okay, Evenly Matched, Multi-Faker, like on Resolution, Multi-Faker, and then I have my board set up, and it cost me nothing. It cost me my battle phase, which I don't care too much about. And that's going to be the deck. This deck is super fun to play, not super budget, but it's quickly getting more budget. Like Access Code Talker is not a necessity, it is a commodity. I just happen to have one, so I'm enjoying that commodity, but it's not essentially. You could definitely play this deck without it, and you wouldn't even notice, because I didn't go into it once. I've almost never used it. I don't think I've ever used it, actually. This deck is crazy fun. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to see the deck that got 2nd place, which is a really cool Abyss Actor deck, then make sure to check out my deck, the deck profile on my channel. Link to my channel will be in the description. That will be live a week from either today or yesterday, depending on when I get this uploaded. It'll be Tuesday of next week. So we'll see you guys in the next one. And until next time, everyone, good fun. Have luck.